Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's January 8th, 2021. Happy New Year's to everyone. I hope everyone's had a safe Christmas, Hanukkah, holiday season, and a very safe New Year. Certainly we're not out of the pandemic concerns yet. There's a lot to really take serious there, so I hope you're all taking good care of yourselves. Sorry I haven't posted too many videos recently and haven't really been active on YouTube at all. And that's mainly because right now, during these really cold winter months, I'm inside, hunkered down, really expanding my intellectual capital, really spending a lot of time doing research, somewhere between 8, 12, and sometimes 16 hours a day, looking at some areas that I need to be focusing on for the future. So for example, we're in our 60s. Thea, I'm already retired. I've been retired now going on 11 years. And Thea will be retired within the next 3 years. Maybe she'll retire really soon, or she may wait for another 3 years. But during this time, when it's really cold and I don't have to be out doing earthworks and working in the gardens and all those things, I'm really paying a lot of attention to areas that I can potentially secure our futures and leave a legacy as well. And so, you know, estate planning, financial planning, all of those sorts of things. So a few years ago, I stumbled on to ARK Invest, and they're an actively researched staff of very energetic young people who are looking at the disruptive, innovative changes that have already began all around the world and that are rapidly growing. And there's tremendous opportunities for people to invest in. Now, I'll stop right there and say this is not advice. I'm not a professional financial advisor, and I'm certainly not trying to tell you what to invest in. But I wanted to share with you, ARK Invest helped me to first dissect and to be able to differentiate the various technologies that are rapidly evolving over time. From there, I read books, I did a lot of research and then I found companies that were integrating these disruptive and innovative technologies that are in a very large expanding market, like Tesla. Like a couple of years ago, I talked about Tesla. If you've been following Tesla, the stock, you know, last year in 2020, I think it's up 740%. Already, today's January 8th, it's really climbing like crazy again. And this, again, everyone needs to do their own due diligence. Everyone needs to take responsibility for their own financial decisions. But today what I thought I'd do is share with you some of the key people at ARK Invest. So what I've done is I've gone to their website and to their YouTube channel, and I've just taken some select clips from some of their YouTube videos. Now, they're an open source research and investment company. So certainly, and full disclosure, I do have investments in like ARKG, the genomics package. It's an ETF. And it's because it's so actively researched and managed. And so they have podcasts, webinars, YouTube videos. And we're coming up, this is the beginning of 2021, pretty soon, if they've done what they've done in the past, they'll have some of their new platforms, their new information, their new goals and all, and some of their predictions for the future. What I'm going to share with you today in the rest of the video that I'm going to play, it's going to be showing you over the last 2 years some of the clips from their YouTube videos that they produced. They're absolutely amazing. I am invested in ARK Invest. Do I recommend anyone else do it without really thinking about their own personal goals, objectives, and doing their own research? No. I think everybody needs to be responsible for your own investments. But I think that they create a great deal of value in the information that I'm going to share with you that they're going to disclose today. So without any further ado, we'll just go ahead and let Kathy Wood and the rest of the gang at ARK Invest share with you some of their insights. And again, this is over a year ago. Thanks so much for watching, folks, and have a great day. Bye-bye now.
ARK is a global investment firm, and we are focused only on disruptive innovation. That's our sole focus. We believe that investors are missing out on some amazing opportunities out there just because of how the traditional financial world is set up. It's very siloed, specialized in a world where technology is permeating every sector and innovation platforms are converging. DNA sequencing, robotics, energy storage, artificial intelligence, blockchain technology. These are the 5 major innovation platforms today that are evolving at the same time. We have never seen this amount of innovation evolving at the same time in history.
ARK is not your traditional investment firm. Most firms are managed around sectors, a market cap, or pre-existing industries. We're really focused on figuring out where the world's headed and the key technology platforms that will lead us there. We're trying to deal with much larger narratives. We're trying to figure out what is the world of transportation going to look like 5 to 10 years from now? How much energy is going to be generated and stored using either solar or lithium-ion battery cells? How much of software is going to shift over to artificial intelligence over the next 10 years? We're trying to figure out the macro trends of technology over the next 5 to 10 years, and that's much more exciting than maybe working out the minutiae of the next quarter or so.
In our research process, we usually start with the top down. We'll see where the technology is that we're looking at along the S-curve. We'll also use Wright's law to determine the cost dynamics that we see in the particular market that we're trying to size. In that process, usually names come to us, and then we'll do the bottom-up fundamental work from there. We'll assign 5-year valuation targets to all of our companies, and we'll also qualitatively score all of the companies that we look at. Really all about collaboration and transparency. The office itself is actually an open office that helps foster collaboration with the analysts, also between teams. A lot of the names that we look at are working on more than one technology platform at once, so that collaboration is really important. In terms of transparency, we publish all of our research online. We use social media outlets like Twitter. We started a podcast. We also have a weekly newsletter. We're really just looking to put our ideas out there and actually get feedback on our work, because we think that helps ultimately further the research and get to the truth.
Traditional investment firms are having trouble, we believe, understanding the magnitude of the innovations that are taking place today. Investment firms that are not set up appropriately to analyze and research and invest in disruptive innovation are going to be depriving investors of some of the biggest opportunities of our lifetime. I founded ARK Invest in 2014 for one reason, and that was to focus solely on disruptive innovation. We believe that there are 5 innovation platforms evolving at the same time. This has never happened in history. You have to go back to the late 1800s to see 3 innovation platforms evolving at the same time. Back then, electricity, telephone, and the internal combustion engine. For the 50 years through 1929, because of those innovation platforms, we experienced a booming economy and very low inflation. We see that happening with these 5 platforms, which are already, we believe, for prime time. The 5 innovation platforms upon which we base all of our research are DNA sequencing, robotics, energy storage, artificial intelligence, and blockchain technology. These platforms cut across sectors, they cut across geographies, they cut across markets. And importantly, they are converging with each other to spawn new innovation. Now just think about traditional research departments. Who's going to follow those stocks? These are platforms which cut across sectors and geographies. Only with a new kind of research effort do we believe the capital markets will fully be able to exploit these transformational opportunities. In the spirit of our open research ecosystem, I hope you enjoy the big ideas of 2019.
Deep learning is software that writes itself using large amounts of data. So all of a sudden, you don't need programmers to do this anymore. You just feed it lots of data, and the end result is so much more powerful than anything that a small team of humans can write. Each wave of software disruption adds a huge amount of value to our economy. When you look at kind of the PC-driven software evolution of that decade, that added about $4 trillion to the economy. The internet, which created the FANG companies, added about $10 trillion. By our estimates, deep learning is going to add $30 trillion to the economy. And this is really kind of a testament to each wave being larger than the next, because software is eating more and more industries. PC era only ate a few industries like desktop publishing. With the internet, it was maybe media. With deep learning, it's going to be every industry, everything from heavy construction to energy to retail to healthcare. All the big ticket items are going to be captured by deep learning. If you thought the internet was disruptive, you haven't seen anything yet.
Basically, if you hear the term digital wallet, you're probably thinking of a small application on your phone with your card storage and to make your payments easy, but that's just the beginning. So digital wallets are soon going to emerge as financial ecosystem that are going to support a number of financial services. It could be your taxes, it could be your investing, it could be your insurance, or even access to crypto assets. So they're going to become a financial hub. In terms of digital wallet opportunity, if you look at the growth of digital wallets in the US, it's already 13 million users are using digital wallets as of today. And we believe about 75% of the US adult population will be using a digital wallet by 2023. Once the bank branch opportunity is realized, around $200 billion of market cap will be attributable to digital wallet companies like Square Cash or Venmo that are playing in the space right now. So with digital wallets, it's essentially a bank branch in your pocket, so an access to financial services as simple as making a phone call.
Hey there.
Hi. Throughout the history of civilization, we've never really had the ability to transfer and store value without relying on an intermediary or a centralized governing body. In 2008, Satoshi Nakamoto, the anonymous creator of Bitcoin, proposed an alternative monetary system that was free from top-down control, governed by the decentralized masses. So with Bitcoin, for the first time, we have the opportunity to have true ownership of our wealth. And this, for the first time, allows us to openly, globally, and borderlessly have an economy separate from existing monetary systems. Fast forward 10 years, and Bitcoin as a network processes over $1 trillion of value annually. When you compare that to Western Union or PayPal, Bitcoin surpasses that and is within an order of magnitude of Visa's. So 10 years in, Bitcoin being volatile is normal. This is not a 6-year get-rich-quick scheme. This is a multi-decadal shift in how we perceive money and monetary systems today.
Next-gen sequencing affects humans, plants, and bacterial life in a bunch of really interesting novel ways. For human beings, we're able to develop new types of screens and tests and therapies for patients that have a whole broad spectrum of different types of diseases. For plants, we're able to increase productivity and yield of different types of mainstay crops across the world. And we can also be able to develop new types of computational techniques to run atop that data to be able to really give us new insights into the progression of disease. So 2003 was the scientific community's first attempt at sequencing the entirety of the human genome, in which we discovered that it cost roughly $3 billion to perform that task and about 13 years of computational power to do the same. So flash forward to nowadays, we've cumulatively sequenced about 2 million whole human genomes, and we expect that number to get up to around 100 million in 2023, which would expand the addressable sequencing market from about $3 billion today to a little bit north of 20 billion in 5 years. With all of this new data that we're generating, we can leverage new computational techniques running off of deep learning or machine learned architecture to be able to go in and yield actionable information that beforehand wasn't possible.
Only 5% of all monogenic diseases have any available treatment today. In most cases, we are addressing the symptoms of disease rather than addressing the underlying root cause of disease. Enter CRISPR. CRISPR is a powerful editing tool for DNA that can easily and inexpensively correct, delete, or repair genes with precision. CRISPR is emerging as one of the most promising ways to cure disease from cystic fibrosis to sickle cell anemia, and from cancer to childhood blindness. So with CRISPR, addressing all 10,000 monogenic diseases could total more than $75 billion per year, in addition to $2 trillion in built-up latent demand. Healthcare today addresses the symptoms of disease. With CRISPR, we'll be addressing the root cause of disease.
When people typically think of robotics, they think of traditional industrial robots, which are caged off. But collaborative robots, they have sensors on them, so if they bump into you, they're not gonna knock you over, they'll stop moving. And they're very simple to program. Some of them are as easy as you can take the robot arm, you can move it one place, tell it to pick something up, move it somewhere else and tell it to drop it. Anyone could learn to program it within a few hours, as opposed to a traditional robot, which sometimes takes weeks or even months to get set up. In 2017, roughly 400,000 industrial robots were sold. Traditionally, almost all robots have been sold into the auto industry, but what we're seeing is with the lower cost of collaborative robots and the ease to retrain them, this is going to expand far beyond just the auto industry. And so we'll start seeing it in all types of manufacturing. ARK forecasts that there will be 3.4 million robots sold in 2025. And that's going to supercharge productivity and boost the economy.
.3D printing is totally revolutionizing manufacturing. With 3D printing, complexity is free. So you're allowed to create these structures that you could have never created before with traditional manufacturing. So the interesting thing about 3D printing is a lot of people think the opportunity is over. There was this period in 2014, 2015, where everyone thought there'd be a 3D printer in all of our houses, and that never happened. We don't think it ever will. The real opportunity for 3D printing is industrial use cases, so markets like the aerospace industry or healthcare, for instance. Aerospace engines, actually, in particular, have lots of complex parts, and when you 3D print them, you can actually reduce the number of parts that you need. So GE, for instance, has one part that goes in the turboprop engine. It used to be over 800 pieces, and now it's just 12 with 3D printing. And with that reduction, you also get 20% less fuel burn. 3D printing is roughly a $7 billion market today, and we think it could go to over $90 billion in the next 5 years. 3D printing is going to allow for innovation like we've never seen before in manufacturing. It's going to allow for new parts with new designs that humans could have never imagined.
Lithium-ion batteries have been around since the early 1990s, but we're approaching some really exciting tipping points. The costs are coming down faster than anyone anticipated, and they're not just enabling electric vehicles and energy storage, but they're also changing the way we travel. We believe that by 2023, there are going to be 26 million electric vehicles sold globally. An electric vehicle will be cheaper to the end consumer than a comparable gas-powered car. So to the end consumer, you'll be deciding, am I going to spend more for a gas-powered car that also costs more to refuel and has higher maintenance costs? Or are you going to spend less on an electric vehicle that also probably accelerates faster? What a lot of people don't realize is that battery cost declines aren't going to just stop. Battery costs are going to continue to fall and make endless applications available.
We think that autonomous taxis are one of the largest opportunities in the public equity markets today. We expect autonomous taxis to be available to consumers within the next year or two, and they'll be extremely cheap. So the price of personal travel actually hasn't changed in 100 years. Since the Model T, it's been about 70 cents per mile to drive a personal car. That's coming down to less than 30 cents per mile. That's an extremely dramatic decrease, and that's less than 1/10 of the cost of a taxi. So there are many companies working on autonomous travel today, and we expect a group of those to be the winners. This is a natural monopoly market, and we actually think the auto market, as a result, will consolidate. We think that autonomous taxi networks should be valued at $2 trillion today in the equity markets, and it's virtually unaccounted for. In the next 10 years, the value of autonomous taxis could grow to $7 trillion, which is actually larger than today's energy sector. Personal travel is about to get much safer, much more convenient, and most importantly, much cheaper.
We know innovative products can make a huge difference to a company. We obviously believe that the products we bring to market are highly innovative. But perhaps the most interesting and innovative product is the company itself. What we're trying to build at ARK in terms of how we organize and the kind of people we hire and the culture we have, all those embody the values of innovation, and I think that's what helps the firm be so successful. We're not trying to hire people to fill roles at this firm. We're trying to bring people who are already naturally curious, who are already very strong in a certain field. I would say that you really have to love what you do, and you really have to have genuine curiosity about where the future is headed. Every analyst that joins ARK is already obsessed with a certain technology, or already is obsessing over, researching over a given topic. The company is really a platform for us to explore our own intellectual curiosity, and in turn, the company benefits by getting such a group of highly energetic and focused individuals together.
ARK believes the digital transformation is in its earliest days. Listen in as two of our analysts break down why you should pay lots of attention to this investment opportunity. Reason 1. Streaming is shaping the future of content distribution.
Streaming technology is being used to deliver more and more content over the internet. With streaming, consumers have instant access to massive content libraries of video, audio, and games. ARK believes streaming is well on its way to becoming the primary technology behind content distribution, and as such is reshaping at-home and on-the-go viewing habits. What this could translate to is streaming revenue reaching almost $390 billion by 2024. That's up from an estimated $86 billion in 2019.
Reason 2. Remote work is the new normal for enterprises and startups.
The coronavirus has forced companies to retool their workforce for remote work almost overnight. Working from home requires software that works anywhere, as well as new tools for collaboration. Collaboration and security are two verticals that's seen enormous growth as a result of remote work. Daily active users for Microsoft Teams grew from 20 million users to 75 million users in Q1 2020. Zoom meeting participants grew 30-fold to 300 million active participants. Meanwhile, Zscaler's cloud security traffic increased 3-fold.
Reason 3. The gaming ecosystem is rapidly expanding.
With live sports on hold, one industry we believe is going to see increased user engagement is online gaming. Instead of revenue cannibalization that is typically seen in the TV and music industries, new technologies like cloud gaming and live streaming are adding incremental value to the gaming industry. Live streaming in particular is seeing a bump in 2020. In fact, the average monthly hours watched on Twitch have exploded to 1.4 billion hours in 2020. That's up 56% from 2019. We believe this is an excellent sign for the overall gaming industry.
Reason 4. The services industry has embraced zero contact.
The services industry, which make up over 60% of global GDP, has been severely impacted by the coronavirus. Thankfully, a new wave of companies has found new ways to deliver services online. Food delivery sales have reached new highs in many markets. US food delivery sales in May more than doubled year on year. After gyms closed across the country, Peloton, the leading supplier of internet-connected fitness bikes, saw workout videos grow 150% year on year.
Reason 5. We believe social commerce is the next wave in e-commerce.
Social commerce combines the stickiness of online shopping with the network effects of social media. When implemented correctly, it can be a powerful growth driver. Today, social commerce makes up roughly 5% of the total e-commerce market, which ARK believes reached roughly $4.5 trillion in 2019. By 2025, we estimate that the space could balloon to $2.8 trillion, or roughly 19% of the estimated $14.7 trillion e-commerce market.
Now that you've heard from our team, head to ark-invest.com to learn more.